Stan Van Gundy became the Pelicans head coach. Is this good? Is this bad? Does this not make a difference? Well, we'll see today. Alright, first of all, Stan Van Gundy, his stint in Orlando was prime Dwight Howard. That was great. But then he went to the Pistons with Andre Drummond. They got better as a team, but a 7 seed? They weren't too good. He tried to turn Andre Drummond into more of a playmaker, and he did give himself more of a game. But that stint in Detroit, we gotta say, bro, that shit was horrible. Okay, let's get that off the table. Alright, but first, why I think he's a good head coach for the Pelicans is he doesn't let you beat yourself. We talk about coaches like Mike Malone, Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra. They're very good at making sure you don't beat yourself. Beating yourself is like when you have a lot of turnovers. Like when you have a lot of turnovers, you just beating yourself because you're just giving them opportunities. You know what I mean? He's a good defensive coach, which that's also a way to not beat yourself is if you play good on defense. And then he's a good scheme coach, aka creating a system. He created a system for Dwight. He did all this stuff for Dwight and did basically a 5-out around him. Was a very big 4 that was pretty good on defense but could shoot the lights out in Rashard Lewis. Like that system, we got to give it to him. If that system had one more star, that's a championship team. Obviously, they made the finals, but they didn't win the championship. And he's one of the best coaches for a young team. When you think about young players, what is Zion poor at right now? Defense. He needs defense. What has Lonzo had problems with in the past? Turnovers. Yes, he's a great facilitator, but he's had problems with turnovers and making, just taking weird shots, which he doesn't do anymore. He's growing up from that. But it's thinking like Brandon Ingram. What's he bad at? Defense. So this team can get a whole lot better defensively, especially when you think they're going to ship out and Drew Holiday. They're going to have to try and fill in that holes by just getting better defensively as a team in general. So, that helps you out a lot when you have a coach that's great on defense. And then make sure that the only way you would beat yourself is if you're not shooting well. And that's why teams like the Heat got so far this year, because they didn't beat themselves on defense. They didn't have a lot of turnovers. That's why they got to the finals. Obviously the Lakers got to the finals because you got goddamn LeBron James. He fucking makes the finals every year. But, those are the teams that excel, the teams that don't beat themselves. Alright, then the next reason. He's good at adding skills to young talent. He added a post game to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was just known as a very athletic, strong big man coming in. That was why he was the number 1 pick. The meta back then was get a good big man and your team will be alright. You know what I mean? He added a post game to Dwight. He gave Drummond more playmaking and facilitating. Which Drummond obviously Drummond's he's in a weird state in his career right now where he got to start adding something for him to be good. But look, that's great. What does Zion need? And Zion, I don't know if he needs too much on the offensive end. I feel like they will surround him with shooters and make sure they cater up to his abilities the most he can. Maybe a mid-range shot is nice. We saw them 5 straight 3-pointers he had in that one game, in his opening game. Is that consistent? I don't think that's consistent. I don't think you'd expect him to make 2 3-pointers a game. I don't think you could. Maybe 1. Maybe he could make 1 out of 4 3-pointers a game. Shoot 25%. Which will keep the defense kind of honest, but they'll still leave him open. You know what I mean? And then you add the skills to players. Well, Lonzo needs a little bit more perimeter shooting, which Stan Van Gundy's not a great coach for perimeter shooting, but he knows how to surround you with perimeter shooters. He can get those perimeter shooters in the locker room with you, mentor you. Lonzo's shots have been getting better, so shout out to him for that. But then Brandon Ingram obviously needs to improve on defense. He needs to improve as a facilitator. His turnovers were really high this year. They weren't on a historic rate like Russell Westbrook or James Harden, but they were pretty high for his standard. He averaged a good amount of turnovers compared to assists. His assist-to-turnover ratio wasn't too good. So that's one thing that they need to add to Brandon Ingram if they want to be a contending team sometime soon. And then maybe, I don't know what else you do on that roster. That roster is a very young roster. But what do you do to Josh Hart? He's a good 3-and-D wing. I feel like you keep him. I don't know if you can add too much to him. He's just that. Still, I think he was like a second round pick or like a late first. So that was a steal. But like right now, this Pelicans team is very based on let's work these years and try to make the most out of these years, because they know they're not going to win a championship for probably the next 2 to 3 years. They know they're probably not going to make the playoffs next year at least. So they're like, let's use these years to try and progress Zion and Lonzo to the highest we can, because that's obviously Brandon Ingram as a scorer. He's already up there. He's fine as a scorer. He's fine. Now, would he be a better catch and shoot player? Do you want him to be more of a catch and shoot player than he is right now? Hell yeah, he's a very ISO heavy player. But Brandon Ingram is in good state right now. He's an all-star, all this stuff. And he's not a very ball dominant person when it comes to running the offense. He doesn't run the offense. If he runs the offense, he's shooting the ball. And that's it. So maybe you need to add on to that. But right now, yeah, I feel like you get as much as you can from Lonzo. Lonzo came in as a second pick for a reason. People thought he could be elite in many aspects of the game. So you try to add as much as you can to Lonzo Ball, because we know his playmaking is elite, passing elite, his defense solid as all hell, is up there when it comes to perimeter defenders in the league. So all you need to do is just add a little couple more aspects to Lonzo. It might not even be like, oh, he needs to become a better shooter. It might just be that he needs to gain more confidence, because we know that he's taking I think it's like 3 3-pointer attempts per game, which is like, bro, you shot 40%. If you shot like 5 3-point attempts a game, it'd probably go down to 38%. But look, 40% is like the later part of the season, not the whole season. But if you shot like 5 3-pointers attempt, maybe your percentage will go down, but people will be a lot more honest on you. And what does Zion need right now? He needs perimeter shooting times 100. Because if not Zion, if Zion doesn't get the perimeter shooting and facilitating, like, bro, if Milwaukee had a point guard like Lonzo Ball, I'm not saying they would be that much better, but they would have a better scheme, a better game plan, because Lonzo would be like, all right, Giannis is getting pick and roll. That's what they need to turn Zion into. Zion, Lonzo pick and rolls. They're only I think they were 4 pick and rolls a game that they ran this year. That needs to be way up. Lonzo's an elite facilitator. Zion's an elite lob catcher, finisher at the rim. You need to make sure you can make the best of that situation. And who knows? Zion might be a small ball 5. Strong as hell. Great vertical leap. He can do anything you need to defend the 5, as long as he becomes better on defense. So this team, obviously, Stan Van Gundy is not going to turn them from a 30-win team to a 50-win team. But I feel like he could low-key slip in the playoffs this year. It'll be very hard. You got Portland coming back healthy this time. The Warriors obviously coming back. So I don't think they have much of a chance. But you can push for it, and that's what I would do as this team. This team should not be tanking anymore. Too much talent to be tanking. You need to make those 35 wins on the season be the best 35 wins by any team, and you need to make them 50 losses you'll take that season. You need to make them the closest games possible. If you're gonna lose, you gotta lose while having this winning mindset. You cannot be tanking. We saw what happened in the past with the Knicks and Philly. Now they're both in very bad situations. Not so much Philly, but yeah. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Like the video, subscribe. Thanks y'all for watching.